Hey everyone, welcome back to the JavaScript course. So in this video, we'll be building a JavaScript counter. Okay, so if you find this interesting, let's get started right away. So in this video, we'll be building a basic kind of JavaScript counter. Okay, so inside my VS Code, I've opened up my index.html file, my style.css file, as well as my script.js file. Okay, so there is some basic boilerplate code that is present inside my index file, as you can see. And inside my style.css file, there is some basic styling given over here. And inside my script.js file, there is a basic console.log message. Okay, so now let's start exploring about how we can design and build a counter inside of JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript counter. Yeah, so the first thing inside of a JavaScript counter is we need to have, let's say, a button which is going to show the count. Okay, and below the button we can have a minus button as well as a plus button. Okay, basically to increase or decrease the quantity. Okay, and before this we are going to have basically a main button. Okay, showing the quantity inside it, basically showing the counter value. We can select that. Okay, so this is the basic design structure of this counter. Okay, so basically we'll be having, if you check out our web page, we'll be having a basic button over here which is gonna show the actual count of the counter, and towards the bottom part, that is towards the left and right, we'll be having a minus button and the plus button. So in case if you press on the minus button, the counter should be the counter value should be decreased by 1 inside the main button holding the counter value, whereas if you press on the plus button, it should increase the value by 1 inside the main button carrying the counter value, right? So for that, firstly let's come into our index.html and let's start designing our div. Okay, so we'll be writing div over here, and for this div we're going to give a class of, let's say, main for now. Okay, so this div is going to contain a h4 tag which is going to say click on the counter, something like this. Okay, and after this we are going to have is basically the button that's going to come. Okay, so this button is going to have an id so that we can use it in the js file. So let's say id of button itself over here, and the value is basically going to be click me. Okay, we'll be providing the initial value of 0 like this. Okay, so let's pretty much save the file and come back to the web page. Yeah, so you can see the button and the text coming towards the left part. So let us just put it towards the center of the screen. Okay, so for that reason, let's basically come to our style.css, target the main given. So main, we're gonna say a display of flex and align items of center and justify content of center, and we'll be giving a margin top of, let's say, 40 pixels for now. Okay, so let's save the file. So these are the styles for the main div tag. Okay, so let's come back to our web page over here. Yeah, so you can see that coming, whereas for the button, let's just give some basic inline styling itself. Okay, we're gonna give, okay, so let's actually write in the class. Okay, so class is gonna be button class. So just pretty much copy this out, and over here let's paste it over here, and we're gonna give some margin left of 20 pixels like this. Okay, come back to the web page. Yeah, and now the button is currently spaced out a bit and it's looking better. So now we're gonna pretty much show the value. Okay, so even if you click on this button, we need to increase the counter, right? So firstly, let's come into our script file. Okay, and over here we're gonna say var button equals to document dot get element by id of, let's target the name, that is the id we have given is button. Okay, so we're gonna say button over here. Okay, so basically this button is gonna have on click event, so we're gonna say button dot add event listener. Okay, so this is gonna take in basically the click event, and we're gonna write in the function for this. So it's gonna take in a function. Okay, so basically firstly let's initialize our counter variable. So we're gonna say var count equals to 0 like this, and if we press on the click me button, the first thing we do is we're gonna increase it by 1. So it's gonna be count plus equals to 1 as such. And after that, we're going to say button dot inner HTML equals to, okay, it's basically going to be this itself. Okay, that is this value, which is going to say click me, like this. Okay, and we'll be pretty much showing the count variable over here. Okay, so that is after we have calculated the count, that is after incrementing that particular value, we'll be showing it over here. Okay, so save the file, and now let's go check it out. Okay, yeah, so currently we have the click me as 0 in the initial state. So let's say if I press on this button, okay, it's not currently showing it. Oh, okay, my bad, I just forgot to put in the plus, right? Save the file, and now we should be seeing it increased. Okay, so basically from 0 1 2 3 we can see the counter being increased by +1. So the next thing is basically to show in the remaining buttons. Okay, that is the minus button and the plus button. So we're going to say div. Okay, for this we're going to give a button, and this is going to have a class name of, let's say, decrease for this. Okay, so over here it's going to be minus symbol, and after that we're going to give, okay, so instead of class we need to give ID, right? So we're going to say ID, and this is a second button. So basically this ID is going to be, instead of, yeah, we're going to give it increase. Okay, so over here let's write in increase, and here it's going to be the plus button. Whereas for the div, you're going to give the class name as main itself. Okay, so the same piece of styling is going to apply for this as well. Okay, so let's save the file, and let's check out our web page if everything is looking proper. Yeah, so we can see the buttons coming. So let's just give some spacing to the button. So basically let's give the class name for the second one. It's going to say increase button. Okay, let's pretty much save the file, target this, and let's give some margin left to this. Okay, we're going to say margin left of 20 pixels. Okay, yeah, so over here you can see the change being applied. So the next thing is we're going to pretty much target the buttons and provide a on click event for this. Okay, so we're going to say var increase equals to document dot get element by ID of increase. Okay, I hope the spelling is right. Yeah, we have given increase, that's correct. So on increase we're going to provide a on click event. So increase dot add event listener, like this. It's going to take in the click and a function to execute. So basically over here we are going to pretty much do the same thing, count plus equals to 1, and after we have increased it, we're just going to change the UI inside the button. So button dot inner HTML, this is the main button, equals to, it's pretty much going to be click me and plus count as such, like this. Okay, so the next thing we look into is basically the decrease button. So let's write that out also. So var decrease equals to document dot get element by ID of decrease, like this. Okay, and we'll be providing on click event for this as well. So decrease dot add event listener of click type, and it's going to take in the function like this. Okay, so I think we had one extra parenthesis. Okay, where is that bracket missing? Oh, here. Yeah, so basically we are going to decrease it by 1, like this. Okay, and after that we're going to say same thing, button dot inner HTML equals to, yeah, the same thing, the click me and plus count. Okay, so let's save the file out. So I think everything should work according to what we discussed earlier, right? So currently it's 1, so if I press on this button it's going to work. So let's say if I press on the plus button, it should increase the quantity and it should change the UI over here. Basically it should give us 2, right? So let's check that out. Yeah, so this part is working absolutely fine. So now let's check the functionality for the minus button. So over here, yeah, even that is working fine. We are able to decrease that particular quantity by 1. I mean the particular counter value by 1 if we press on the minus button, and if we press on the plus button, it is increasing by 1. Okay, so that's it about the basics of the counter application in JavaScript. Okay, so we just explored about how to make a counter button that increases the value if we press on that particular button, and we also designed two more buttons, that is the minus and plus button, to increment and decrement the counter value. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. So let's see in the next video, and then thank you for watching.